Okay, we're going to have a look at question 4 on the angles Mathswatch task. So I've got in front of me here, this is something I think I sent all of year 9 higher classes, which gives you the different situations you come across in terms of equal angles or angle rules with relation to parallel lines. So two angles that are in the same position on a transversal crossing parallel lines are called corresponding angles, and they're always equal. Vertically opposite angles are always equal. Alternate angles, which are kind of on the other side, the alternate side of like a Z symbol, are always equal. And these three angle rules apply to parallel lines. Okay, and we've got other angle rules here with regard to straight lines, isosceles triangle. Angles around a point always add up to 360. Interior angles in a quadrilateral will always add up to 360. And then we have the method for finding the angle, the total interior angles and exterior angles of any polygon. Okay, so we're going to refer to this while we go through these questions. So question 4, it tells us first of all that x, y and BD are parallel lines. So we know that this line and this line are parallel, and we could put little arrows on there to show that they're parallel. Okay, it also tells us that XB equals XC. So XB and XC are the same size, which makes this an isosceles triangle. So that tells us that this angle and this angle will also be equal, because base angles in an isosceles triangle are always equal. So first question says, complete this sentence, angle XBC, so XBC is this one, is 55 because, and we're asked to give a reason. Okay, so if we look at the situation we have here, these two angles are in the corresponding position on a line. If we extend that, you can see those are parallel lines. We've got a line crossing the parallel lines, and these two 55s are corresponding. So if we look at our angle rules, corresponding angles are equal. So that would be word for word the sentence that you would write or type into Mathswatch. Okay, so it then asks you to work out angle BXC and to give a reason for each angle you work out. So BXC is this angle here. Okay, and we can work that out because we know if that is 55, this must also be 55. Okay, so that's the first stage of our working out, and we can say XCB, angle XCB is 55 degrees because base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. Okay, we know that the sum of the interior angles in an isosceles triangle or any triangle adds up to 180. So we can do 180 take away 55 plus 55, which is 110, leaves us with 70 degrees. So angle BXC is 70 degrees. And the second reason we would give is because angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. The first reason, base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. That gives us our 55. And angle BXC is 70 because angles in a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. Okay, have a look at question 5 now. Okay, asked to work out the size of angle X. Okay, so we've told this 100 degrees here. Okay, so there's different ways that we could look at this. We know that B, for example, this angle at B is 100 degrees because vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay, and we would therefore be able to work out X because they form a sort of C shape, a backward C shape, and we that co-interior angles always add up to 180. Okay. However, we can look at our 100 and we can look at X. If we look at alternate angles, Sometimes they get called Z angles, but the proper name is alternate angles. We have this situation here. 100 and X are alternate angles. So we can say that X equals 100 degrees because alternate angles are always equal. Okay, question 6, I'm just going to have a look at now. Okay, so we're asked to work out the size of angle X here. Okay, so I would start by finding angle F. Okay, so I can see that this angle here is 105 degrees. It might be a bit blurry on the video. And they form a straight line. F and 105 form a straight line. So F is going to be 180. Take away 105, which gives us 75 degrees. F is 75 degrees, and the reason for that is that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Okay, I can then see that F and X are in the corresponding position on a line crossing parallel lines. That line crossing is called a transversal. And therefore X is also 75 because corresponding angles are equal. So your full answer would be X is 75 because corresponding angles are equal. Okay, I'm going to have a look at a couple of the bearing questions now to help you with that. So just move this wire. Sorry. It's better. Okay, so A and B are two cities. Measure the bearing of B from A. Okay, so bearings, there are three really important points you always need to remember with bearings. One is that they are always measured from north. Secondly, they always have three figures. So if a bearing, for example, was 60 degrees, we would write that as 0, 6, 0. And they are always measured clockwise. Okay, so always clockwise from north, always three figures. So if we're asked to measure the bearing of B from A, okay, so of B from A, so we're starting from A. So the first thing we would do, I'm just using this as a ruler, is we would put in our north line. Okay, and we're measuring the bearing from A to B. So I'm going to draw a line from A to B. Okay, and I want to know this angle here because this is from north going clockwise to B. Okay, might not be brilliantly accurate because I've got quite a thick felt tip, but that looks to me at about 30 degrees. So I would write that as 0, 3, 0 degrees because it's three figures. Okay. You're then asked to measure the bearing of A from B. Okay. You can actually do this without measuring now that you know B from A. So if we were to draw in our north line at B, we now want the bearing of B from B, to A. So we're going to be measuring this. Okay, it's not this way because that would be anti-clockwise. Okay, it must always go clockwise from north. Okay, so we could measure that. We could draw a straight line here. We know that would be 180 degrees. And then we could measure this bit and add it on. Okay, but another way to do it is to think, well, if this is 30, okay, we know that co-interior angles, so interior angles inside two parallel lines, add up to 180. So we know that this one is 180 take away 30, which is 150 degrees. Okay, and therefore this angle here, the bearing of A from B, must be 360 take away 150 because angles around a point always add up to 360. So 360 take away 150 leaves us with 210. So the bearing of A from B would be 210. Okay, so hopefully that will help you to do some of the other bearing questions. Three things that you have to remember. Always measure from north. So the first thing you would do is put your north line in. Always measure clockwise. Okay, and always give your answer as three figures. So like this first one here, although yes, it's 30 degrees, as a bearing that's written as 030 degrees. Okay. If there are any questions that you are particularly stuck on that I haven't gone through, then feel free to send me an email and I can go through those ones.